Draft started up here, ladies and gentlemen, and it's going to be Elventus Lime there on the blue side, starting up with the ban of the Cho'Gath here to kick this one off, my friend.
It is Lime time, Idea PC. It's gonna be a fun one. Professor Claps in the jungle and Johnny Esports for One Brain Boys. Both players, we were lucky enough to be graced with their presence during the pre-show. Finally get to see them on the Rift going against each other once again. I think in the first matchup, these teams actually went 1-1 against each other. I think they went even. So we should have a banger series on our hands. Both teams have been extremely willing to go outside of the meta box and try to bring in some unique picks. I think it was Professor Claps last week who was bringing out some Yorick jungle. And with the One Brain Boys, you just never you never really know what they're gonna bring on. I think we've seen a Zed from them out of Bread Sheeran. Johnny Esports has been really fun to watch, and we'll have to see if the team has finally come together through 5 weeks of mid league now into week 6. This is where they've got to come up big if they want to be with the big
Mhm.
boys
Absolutely.
playing in the doghouse.
And for the second time tonight there, Mac, we do get that center first pick on the blue side.
Yep.
So interesting to see teams being able to pick this one up. And I do actually like the row pick a lot here.
Hmm.
You are able to kind of jump in there and get a lot of CC down on that kind of combination if they do decide to
Yeah.
go with the Tom Kench here. It could be maybe a little bit of a dangerous situation. I would like to see something that can kind of interrupt the rel. I would actually like to see maybe a thresh here or something that could try to hook her or even flay her out in
Hmm.
midair, which really does kind of shut the rel down with her being able to get that kind of beautiful E alt combination off here. But Jink's going to be the pickup as well. So kind of looking to scale over towards the late game with one of those hyper carries in the AD carry role. But that's a heck
Oh
room there
yes.
gonna be picked up on the table. That's another it's another spot for me on bingo, Mac. Yeah, I cannot be stopped. But
Unstoppable. I'm waiting for
yeah,
the perfect card to come out.
you know what? It'll happen here eventually. But yep, the hacker I'm gonna get picked up here in a few more seconds here. Gragas top, possibly actually gonna be the pick here for Elventus Lime. And set gonna be the quick response into that one. I do actually like it a lot because you are able to pull the Gragas out of the body slot.
Yeah. That's gonna be a classic matchup. I'm checking my notes here, looking back for Anarchy Lime. This set pick coming through out of everyone to pick set against. Natsu has been playing a lot of set himself throughout this season. Now on this Gragas pick, really interesting to see if these top laners are going to be able to have the big impact that we're really expecting from champions like these, because there's so much playmaking potential with the explosive cask, with the showstopper, and those big impact plays is something these players have been somewhat struggling with as the season has gone on. Now going against each other, well, Knots on the Scrockus has got to be feeling good. He knows the ins and outs of set. It's going to be up, I think, to for the top laner on the side of the One Brain Boys, Built Diff Boy, the Built Diff Boy, only one brain. We'll have to see if that helps him in the matchup, because I feel like overall meta standing, we got to be leaning towards this Gragas idea. It's so strong.
Yeah, I mean, you do have a lot of CC combination that can come out here with just the Hackerman Gragas. It sets up ganks pretty well here, and
Hmm.
just the kind of combination of CC can be kind of scary, honestly, for even to
Yeah.
set up there in the top lane as fast as he may be. You're not going to outrun that cask if it's placed properly, and you're sure as heck not outrunning that Hecarim. So, Ramestel, talking about
Oh.
fast, speedy boy, is actually going to get locked in there for the one
Hmm.
brain boys, and not afraid to pick out those spicy ones in the jungle here today.
That's exactly what I was talking about as this draft started. Idea, I had myself buckled in, and I really do actually like this Rammus pick coming through from the side of the One Brain Boys. As we were talking about in the last draft, we are on patch 11.4. It's going to be a new meta of junglers starting to break out onto the Rift, and hold that note with this Volibear pick because that makes things really interesting. The Rammus coming through for the jungle, he has such a strong base kit, especially for ganking. He doesn't need those big item completions or the big XP to come through and make him powerful. You know, level 3, he's got all 3 abilities online. The Powerball's going somewhere idea, and it is
Mm-mm-mm.
very difficult to stop.
You are right. You are right. Okay, I don't know how I'm getting this lucky Mac, but I have Hecarim, Volibear, and Syndra on my card, so I'm feeling pretty good right now. One, two, I've got three possibilities for another bingo this game. I need a stolen Baron, triple inhib, or a karma pick maybe in game four could be a possibility for us here. But all that aside, yeah, this team comp's going to be rounded out here, and Echo's going to round out the composition here for the One Brain Boys. So going to be trying to set back time here, and One Brain Boys going to be looking for that victory. Just taking a look at the composition, they do have
Mhm.
quite a bit of engage power here, especially with the Rammus, with the set, with the Rel, being able to get in
Yep.
and dive on these targets. But alternatively, Elventus Lime, they have an equal amount of opportunities as well. I really kind of feel like this
Yeah.
is going to be a fight of which front line is actually able to go in and blow up the back line of the other team first, and that's really going to kind of shape these fights, and see really exactly where these teams are going to end up out on top.
Exactly. The Gragas support pick coming through for Elventus is really fun. I actually don't know if we're going to see a fasting Senna come out. I think because there's kind of two arguments to be made with this Senna pick, and we were talking about when it first got locked in with the Tom Kench, how good of a position she is in the meta right now with that Kraken Slayer Gwynsu's combination. People are going to go fasting just because I mean you're going to be able to get so many souls and get that stacking online so quickly, and you're not going to be CSing but you are going to be picking up a support item to try to get some additional gold in. And on the Senna, it's so easy to poke in lane. I could certainly see some justification for it coming out, especially again emphasizing the Senna pick just pretty much good into everything right now. But it's so it makes life too easy almost when going up against a melee support trying to get those stacks as well. So the only hope for the side of the One Brain Boys is Johnny trying to level up that Jinx Q as quickly as possible to try to get some sort of range advantage going in the matchup. But if you go fasting Senna, I mean, you're not going to be CSing on your ADC, and that's a big loss of gold. And so it takes some time, I think, like 25 minutes into the game, we're going to be seeing the item power spikes come through. So it'll be interesting to see what Lime will be able to pull off. Last week, they got seriously dominated in the bot lane in terms of wave management. So whatever they go, I really think they better be prepared. Maybe the fasting Senna could be the move if they want to just rely on that soul stacking, trying to get as much as they can. But if they're zoned off of the wave, good luck trying to get souls.
Absolutely here, and it's gonna really be up to the Volibear and the Hecarim and the Gragas as well
Yeah.
to be able to get the safety that they need, and be able to kind of protect the center, protect the Syndra. Echo kind of a tricky champion to kind of kill at times.
Hmm.
Especially with just his kit, obviously how it's built. But it's equally as difficult to stop Morel from just being able to jump right in there. It's gonna, you're gonna need some very, very well timed body slams from Utsumi on this Gragas to be able to make that
Hmm.
happen and be able to prevent that. Um, so I mean, realistically, both these teams have ways of winning this game. Both teams have a clear goal with these compositions in mind. The One Brain Boys really kind of more on the hey, let's throw everything that we've got them all at once, and Elventus Slime here with that composition that
Right.
needs to play carefully in these 5-on-5 team fights for objectives. But I mean, really not a whole lot to say other than that, Mac. Both these teams have a clear set for this game.
Yeah, I think what's really exciting for the One Brain Boys composition is how potentially easily Daddy Nempo, as they call him, is going to be able to try to get out onto the map and try to help some of these lanes get advantages because it could be pretty tough trying to take on a Senna in lane, especially with a Gragas. to help things out. So I think it was in one of TSM's matches where Sword Art was on the rail and was just an absolute nuisance going lane by lane, finding easy engages with that massive rail W to kind of start off fights. And her E stun paired up with something like a Rammus or a set. I mean, come on. Like it's just almost so easy to find the gank setup in some of the immobile lanes of Volibear and Syndra, you know? So could be some spicy stuff for One Brain Boys. I think they have an opportunity to be proactive on the map. Well, Lime, I mean, the Hecarim, you're going to want to get that ahead as early as possible to get those big item power spikes going in. He does, luckily for the side of Elventus, have a lot of gank setup. Ganking for the Volibear,
Mhm.
ganking for the Syndra is going to be relatively easy to set up. So, which team is going to be the first to pull the trigger? That's going to be the question.
Absolutely. And I think the longer that this game does go on, I do believe that I would put more and more stock into the One Brain Boys composition here. And, really a lot of it for me is who is Syndra blowing up? Okay, the Jinx, if you can get close to her. But you
Right.
are a medium to long range mage with no mobility against a
Mhm.
set Rammus Echo Rel. Okay, good luck. I hope you find the flank. But probably not going to happen in this game. Really, a lot of that damage profile is going to be coming from Senna being able to try and whittle away that front line of this One Brain Boys composition. But I mean, in all reality, if the One Brain Boys just decide that they are going to pull the trigger and go in, which they should be doing this entire
Mhm.
game, I have a hard time believing that there will be a successful team fight from the Elventus line, just based off draft alone. So personally, I do have my money here on the One Brain Boys. Records be gone, so to speak. But
Yeah.
yeah, if this does play out the way that I would expect it to, just based on the draft, that is where I would put my
Mhm.
chips.
Hey, it is now the time for either of these teams to try to look for the start of the miracle run. I don't think both of these teams could pull off a miracle one, but maybe the one that comes out on top can look to start making some magic
Mhm.
happen. Idea, check your watch. I think it could be Lime time starting now.
Lime time is ready to go, but we're going to throw it on over to a quick intermission as we get ready to go out there onto Summoner's Rift. Ladies and gentlemen, do not go anywhere. Again, I'm the Idea PC, joined by Mac Dewey here on the analyst desk for Excellency's Mid League. And if you have not already, get your bingo cards, everybody, ready to play here for set number 2, game 1 of the Mid League. We'll catch you on the break.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Welcome back, everyone, and right off the bat with Elventus Lime versus One Brain Boys, we're seeing a 5-man or a 4-man invade of Elventus Lime's jungle right now.
Yeah, they One Brain Boys do try to invade with the 4-man. Maybe they are lacking that one brain because Nempa was in the base at that time. So invading without that rel engage at level 1's probably not the best idea, but they do end up getting into that blue side jungle. Just probably going to be for vision, trying to see where the Hecarim is going to start up. they might get Nempo might get collapsed on if he does get pinged out by the side of Elventus here, but again, not too much happening in the early game besides just some deep vision being established by both teams.
Yeah, very good to get some deep vision. It may be a steal of Elventus Slime's is that blue buff by King's Entourage.
Yeah, it looks like they might just try to vertical jungle right here. And so, in terms of just pathing wise, it is going to probably be a little bit more useful for the side of One Brain Boys in depending on how they want to play this lane out. Because, in my opinion, if I am the side of One Brain Boys, I think you try to play around Built Diff Boy. He has played pretty well as a top laner in Excellency Mid League. I think that the set versus the Volibear matchup can be pretty. Ooh, oh my god, he's going for it.
With the goes in with Red Sheeran.
Oh,
No. What are you doing?
What? I don't even know how to I'm just gonna say that was unlucky by the side. They tried to go for something early on, didn't happen. Hecarim Ghost is gonna be down, and we're probably just gonna return back to this vertical jungling state. Which, again, in terms of how they want to play out these laning phases, I do give to the side of One Brain Boys because I feel like Rammus is going to try to affect that top lane matchup. It is a very volatile matchup where if Set can get ahead, they can try to win it through that strength of Set in the side lane.
Yup, we are seeing Fasting Senna once again. That should be a bingo
Yay.
card thing.
Yeah, love. Would that be a bingo card if you see it every single game? Ooh, top lane.
Basically every game. Built Diff Boy is going to be
Ooh.
taking quite a bit of damage. The Conqueror stacks showing on that Z.
Yeah, Brett Sheeran is still trying to win that mid lane after he was ganked by the blue buff Ghost Hecarim level 2. Is managing to get good trades off onto Warrior Guy. And again, they mentioned it in Champs Select, as improbable as these guys' playoff runs are, this is where you kind of need to start. One Brain Boys have had some fun games with a lot of the contending teams. They haven't been able to kind of finish it through, but they have had some competitive games from. Oh my god, they're going
King's
for it.
Entourage with the flash engage onto not, but not
Oh
goes
my
for
god!
the jump out of Set with the flash engage and King's
Nuts!
Entourage. No, the double kill top lane.
Nots
No!
just absolutely hammers it through. Do not try to underplay the strength of Doran's Ring, Volibear, and King's Entourage tries to oh, they're going for it, bot too.
They're going for it. Nepo gets the stun. The roots on the Overrush, but the cleanse from Overrush. The roots. So much CC right now. Johnny Esports shoots a W out, does not get it. Atsumi forced a flash engage with the flash engage from Nepo. Atsumi taking a lot of damage with the heal from Overrush. Will keep them all alive.
Oh. We are seeing so much oh, okay.
That was a
He does get
beautiful
interrupted.
engagement. Here comes the Hecarim Nempo getting caught out here. Johnny Esports just barely dodging that. But here comes Big Daddy Gragas looking for that belly slam. Does not have it on, has it right off cooldown. Professor Claps grabbing that kill.
And wherever the One Brain is being kept right now, it is not in that bot lane. They tried to go for that 2v2. They tried to force it, but they were not able to get on Overrush quick enough, and it ended up being a turnaround from the side of Professor Claps. There will be more combat in the top lane, but again, now Volibear should just slap up Set as hard as possible because he has double buffs, and he probably kills the Rammus
Here
too.
comes King's Entourage, Built Diff Boy. I don't think you win that.
Yeah, he
still.
just kills them out.
Just kills them both the double 2v1. Yes, the double kill. Oh my goodness.
Brett Sheeran needs to stop hoarding the One Brain from the One Brain Boys because this is going from bad to worse. A 3k gold lead at 5 minutes. This is probably one of the biggest gold leads I've ever seen. And it does not. Oh my god. Okay.
What are you doing, Professor? Don't
He
into
tried
your
to
lane.
go for it again, but god, Volibear is absolutely massive. 4-0 double buffs plus the top lane tower plate. This guy is an absolute problem. And as we kind of go into a little bit of a lull state, hopefully for this game, I did want to mention in terms of what happened with the standings after the first set of games tonight. Glaive Esports did end up picking up the 2-0, so now they move up to 26 points. Meme City also ended up picking up the 2-0. The big thing that did happen was AoE God Squad did end up picking up the 2-0 as well, and now move over to that third place position in the standings. In terms of the 4th to 6th slot race, Omega Gaming right now is sitting at 4th place with the 16 points, but right now there's a 3-way tie for 5th with Darkside, Legendary Wolves, and DAR sitting at 15 points. The top lane fight is happening, but Knots is just too strong, too tanky, and does get away from it.
Took a little bit too much damage, only being able to battle the Sheen Warrior guy, taking a little bit of damage, gets that electric proc, forced to flash away from the stun.
And that one brain is chugging on Bread Sheeran. He does force the flash from Warrior Guy, but the problem is that it is becoming so unplayable on the rest of the map that this becomes a really big problem for the side of One Brain Boys, because again, Knots is going to get to a point where he's so tanky that he's going to be able to pretty much perma-dive Built Diff Boy if he doesn't get some support. And if that ever happens, then they're just able to stack up Cloud Dragons, because the bot lane for the side of Elventus is so strong as well, and they do end up picking up the Cloud Dragon. And again, the gold lead has not increased too much. It is still sitting at about a 3k gold lead, but getting that early Cloud Dragon is going to be a big problem for the side of One Brain Boys.
Yeah, Gragas going full tank. We might be seeing full damage Volibear here, having that Sheen. Not really sure what he's decided to build into that. Maybe a Divine Sunderer.
He could go for the Iceborne Fist item as well, but again, the option, the world is your oyster right now, Knots. You can build pretty much whatever you want. You're so far ahead in this lane right now that there's not much that Built Diff Boy can really do, and he's gonna go for it.
Yeah, Built Diff Boy taking a little bit of damage. Ooh, that was a beautiful W to block the knockback from Claps. Built Diff Boy taking a lot of damage. This could be the tower dive as Professor Claps takes that kill, gives that assist over to Volibear. 2-0, 4-0 top lane. Not looking so good right now for One Brain Boys.
Yeah, Knots is really pushing it down. This whole this Volibear is getting out of hand, and this gets really, really rough, because right now the only strong point for the side of One Brain Boys is going to be Bread Sheeran, but there's not much he's going to be able to do against this big, beefy Volibear in the top lane.
Oh, very much so agree with that. Senna going for the Phage right now. It's not very efficient of an item, so I'm wondering what she's deciding to build with that. There's no way she's building Gore Drinker.
She could be going maybe for something like Black Cleaver, but right now I feel like even with Fasting Senna, when you have this much of a front line with the Volibear, Hecarim, and the Gragas going pretty much tank, you can just afford to go Kraken Slayer plus the Rageblade build, which just does so much damage, has such great scaling. A little bit of a itemization misstep from the side of Overrush, but they're so far ahead that it really right now does not matter.
Does not matter indeed. Knots maybe getting engaged upon by Built Diff Boy, but just saying, hey, I want this grasp stack. Give me that extra 5 HP.
Yeah, anytime that Built Diff Boy does that, though, again, it angers the bear god that is Knots in this top lane, and you don't want to anger him too much, because anytime Knots wants to take a chunk out of you, he can kind of just choose to. They have so much vision control around that top side that if King's Entourage or Bread Sheeran try to make a play up there, there's not much you can do. But again, Professor Claps is in the mid lane, and this might just be death.
Yep, Bread Sheeran forced to flash away. The ultimate coming out from Warrior God. Not going to be anything for Bread Sheeran. He is becoming dead Sheeran.
I love the pings from the side of Elventus as they just spam ping the bot lane, trying to see if anything's going to happen. But again, the rest of the map is so strong right now. Knots is just kind of playing with Built Diff Boy. Anytime he wants to kill him, he can kind of just go for it. And
does have the Stormbringer.
Yeah, he has Stormbringer. He has his CDR kind of thrift store that a lot of Volibears kind of opt for as much CDR as possible. There is Nempo in the top lane. They might try to go for something, but
there's
Warrior
a tower dive. Warrior Guy and Professor Claps are all up here.
Oh no!
Oh no! Don't do this to him, the Stormbringer. Built Diff Boy taking so much damage, but the huge pile driver from the set is not going to enough. Nempo taking a lot of damage. Notes taking that turret shot. So is Claps.
Nempo.
All of them being very low. Notes may be taken out by the minion wave here. So here comes Bread Sheeran. Go for the double kill. He grabs one, gets the shutdown by Professor Claps, using that E away. Ooh, Bread Sheeran just barely dodging that knockback, but Warrior Guy getting caught out in a little bit bad of a position here. Professor Claps can't do anything about this. Bread Sheeran time in the tower, just barely missing that stun.
That was super close. And again, great roam by Breadshirt. Again, he is the strong point for the side of One Brain Boys. They tried to overforce it just a little bit too much. They weren't able to land pretty much anything on Nempo, and those tower shots kind of came in clutch. A lot of damage, or a lot of gold kind of generated for the side of One Brain Boys as they end up picking up the shutdown onto the Volibear. But it really doesn't matter because right now you see Volibear at 11 minutes is already sitting on Triforce. The 4 plates already down for the side of this bot lane. But King's Entourage is looking for something.
Goes for the flash engage. Jinx trap's going down, but Jinx taking a lot of damage. King's Entourage pops the ultimate, not going to get anything else out of it. Johnny Esports forced to heal just to stay alive in your own engage.
It's rough for the side of Johnny Esports. He had a rough time at Jeopardy, and he's having even a rougher time in this bot lane as, again, Overrush and Utsumi are just so tanky. They're just, even if when they overforce and try a little bit too hard, but they might go for it right now.
Yep. Flash engage from Nempo does not get any stuns, but the taunt onto Utsumi may just be able to tank his way right out of it. The black mist is just going to get him right out.
Oh no!
Johnny Esports being taken out solo, gets taken out by Overrush, but the Jinx traps are pretty huge. Here comes Brad Sheeran. Notes going in, but the rotate from Warrior Guy is so good. This is going to be second Drake going over to Elventus line.
Looks bad because it is Johnny Esports does end up dying there and does miss that massive minion wave in the bot lane. They are going to end up picking up the Infernal Dragon, but at least Built Diff Boy will have a little bit of time in that top lane. Probably will try to at least get a couple of plays. Oh! Johnny Esports! Now that's a big gamer play by Johnny. That was huge there because, again, they end up now getting a ton of gold on Built Diff Boy with just the solo lane gold plus the tower plates. And they end up not losing the dragon at all. And again, they are not in this game right now. It feels like Elventus kind of playing with their food. But plays like that are what's going to kind of bring them back into the game. With Built Diff Boy picking up a lot of that farm on the sideline. With Breadshirt and having such a great game. This is what you kind of need to play around. These solo laners are playing decent. Breadshirt is obviously the main carry for your team. And I want One Brain Boys to really focus and try to harp on that strength and try to see if they can mount a comeback.
Yep, Volibear, the only one with an item right now. I do believe that is a Divine Sunderer, actually, on this setup. Very interesting set, finally being able to, at 0-4, pick up that Stride Breaker.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of a... Oh, Yankee.
Here comes Professor Claps. Not going to get anything else out of that, though.
Yeah, and again, it feels like Elventus kind of know what the strength is for the side of One Brain Boys. They're constantly kind of throwing people at Breadshirt and just chunking him out so he can't really get any of these roams off into the side lane. But not much happening. They are probably going to be able to pick up Rift Herald as Nats is so strong in that top lane that if you mess with the Bear God, he probably stuns and kills him.
Yeah, mess with the bull, you get the horns. Mess with the bear god, you get the claws. Engage in that boat, that's nothing. Breadshirt pops the ultimate, but does not have too much health from that.
Oh no!
Here comes Professor Claps using the ultimate. Nempo going down to the taunt.
Oh,
but the engage,
taunt!
no! The taunt under turret! Red Sheeran is Chad Sheeran right now, grabbing that kill.
They keep throwing people at Breadshirt, and he just keeps knocking them down one after one after one. They try to make the play onto Breadshirt. A great ulti to dodge Warrior Guy's ultimate, and he tries to get the dive off, but King's Entourage there with a perfect taunt. And again, don't call it a comeback, because it's not a comeback, but they are mounting some sort of fight here. He doesn't make it over the wall and does have to flash.
That is very unfortunate if you are Notes, just barely out of range. You do get to get that bot lane turret.
Barely.
Yep, barely. One of my favorite puns with the Volibear. There's actually a really funny interaction with Volibear and Ornn. They have a lot of voice lines if you like TP back to lane. One of them is if Ornn TPs back to lane, he says, "I really hope Volibear is not waiting for me."
There is a fight happening here. They do end up picking the Rift Herald, but it looks like Utsumi wants to get the engage off here.
Yep.
And
Nempo
without
is caught in a pretty bad spot here.
As Nempo, you probably just try to give the kill over to the Gragas here. Yep. Utsumi said, "I'm taking this one." Who cares about the Senna? Again, when you're this far behind, you're probably not ever going to get objectives or fights cleanly. So it's fine that they end up just using this time, get Bread Sheeran in the side lane, pick up as much farm as possible, and pick up just some gold onto him as well. So it is going to just be a trade for 1 kill for the Rift Herald, and we're going to want to see what they end up doing with that Rift Herald to see if that was a worth trade.
Yup, unfortunately, Elventus Slime is interrupting our very engaging talk about lore to actually play the video game.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
come on, guys.
come on. Let's have some respect here for the casters.
Well, did you know, Chief, that the reason that Volibear and Orange say so many voice lines is because they're actually brothers?
I did know that, even though they don't really look like brothers. Are you sure they're not adopted?
Are you saying that they're step brothers?
Oh,
What
no!
are you doing, step bro? Lore Pog indeed.
Lord Pog.
But we're not going to
Rip
talk
Herald.
about the step brothers and interactions in the top lane as we get the Rift Herald dropped by King's Entourage in the mid. It's not going to break apart anything, but again, just going to be used to get a little bit more chip. Dragon is going to be coming up soon, so it's going to be again, we've seen in game number 1 or set number 1 that there was a lot of fighting around these neutral objectives, and with Dragon spawning in 30 seconds, I expect both of these teams to kind of try to opt for it as well.
Yep, Built Diff Boy does have a TP to work with here, but is instead deciding to take this back. I am not sure if One Brain Boys decide to fight this one. They may be a little bit far behind. Set and Rel getting those late recalls, may be able to get there just in time, but Utsumi waiting in this push. Jinx, King's Entourage, and Bread Sheeran might be getting cut out here. King's Entourage just barely missing that belly slam, but the cast from Utsumi, TP coming in from the set. And Utsumi taking a lot of damage. The Built It for it, using the pile driver, getting them in here, but the Stormbreaker grabs a lot. It's huge Sentinel ultimate overrush, grabbing 1 on the Rammus. Nempo being just CC'd to death over here, but is so tanky, gets the killed. Bread Sheeran is diving in, but you dove right into the 3 tankiest members of Elventus Slime. I don't know what you're doing there, but that is just a 3-for-nothing trade.
And it was a solid fight attempt from the side of One Brain Boys, but you had mentioned it, and it was something I was going to harp on. They are so far behind in gold. Unless you get an absolutely perfect engage, there's not much chance of you winning that fight. And with Warrior Guy landing such a beautiful QE stun from Syndra, any chances kind of evaporated right there. So tanky. There was not enough damage from the side of One Brain Boys, and they end up losing 2 members plus the Dragon as well. Oh my god, they're gonna lose
King's
more
Entourage.
members here.
Don't
Oh,
do it.
no. Makes it out.
Yeah. I mean, 0-3 on a tank isn't really that bad. 0-2 on a Jinx, that's kind of feeling a little bit rough.
Feels rough, and my biggest problem is right now it's just Mountain Dragons. It's not that big of a deal to lose. In that situation, I would have loved it if they just kind of kept Built Diff Boy and Bread Sheeran in the side lane. Just try to get as much gold on these solo lane threats. Oh my god, he's
but
gonna kill him.
Notes was left solo. Bread Sheeran just gonna end up grabbing that solo kill.
And Bread Sheeran might want to change his name to Professor Claps because he just clapped out Notes once again. And again, they need to be respectful. As ahead as Elventus is, when you play against teams like this is like my big thing to kind of gauge the strength of teams in mid-league. When you play against teams just lower in the standings than you, I expect you to have a clean, decisive win. And that's what a lot of the teams in the top 6 do. Whenever they have games against One Brain Boys or they have games against AoE Team 1, they just have clean, decisive, just smashings. And that's what I want to see from the side of Elventus. So when they have situations like this where they are kind of just messing up either rotation or they kind of give over kills, it kind of doesn't put it doesn't put the confidence in me that they can try to make that playoff run. But there is time in the season to kind of recover, and with the lead they have in this game, it should be a pretty easy victory as long as they execute the mid game properly.
Yep, and let me tell you, Gungeon, I'm not liking the play that they're looking for. They're all hovering around this Baron. Let's not see the same thing as game 1.
Baron,
Built Diff Boy and Professor Claps duking it out a little bit.
Oh my
Professor
God.
Claps just gets pulled right back in. Built Diff Boy saying, get back over here. The pile driver, this may be just a kill. As here comes Warrior Guy, ulti coming out from the center. Ooh, and the Jinx ulti just barely not getting it. Professor Claps just barely getting out of there. Not even playing the bear.
And again, I like that at least One Brain Boys is trying to stay aggressive and taking the initiative to try and punish when Elventus overstep. That's what I like about teams like this, and that's honestly what I like about Mid League. A lot of our teams, even when they do fall far behind, they don't just kind of roll over and die. They try to make the plays. Senna's cut out!
Senna being caught out, that's not good, but the rest of his team is here to pull up. Johnny Esports now fighting with Professor Class, not going to get anything else
Black bread.
out of that. Jinx, and the kill doesn't land on Senna, but the Stormbringer does disable that turret. Not going to feel too good right now if you are One Brain Boys. Bread Sheeran being one of the only ones left alive with Built Diff Boy, and Bread Sheeran just gets collapsed upon by every single direction. Just gets CC'd to death. You saw how long he was CC'd for? At least 10 minutes.
At least 10 minutes, and again, Bread Sheeran is trying his hardest in these team fights. They're getting good engages off onto the squishies like Overrush, who kind of just was completely mispositioned for the side of Elventus, but there's just not enough damage. They're just so far behind at this point that they can't really do anything with that play. They do try to get the Baron, but they don't have that fast of a Baron team, and One Brain Boys is able to respond. So not the kind of the death note in this game, but as these fights progress, it is getting harder and harder for One Brain Boys to even try to interact with Elventus.
Oh, for sure. Without the Senna there, not being able to take that Baron really too quick, they'd rather not risk it like the last team. They want to have this decisive victory. With Drake coming up in a minute, they want to back, grab their items. Senna getting close to this Rage Blade. Gragas most likely building towards that Thornmail. It is decent amount of AD, with really only the Echo being the AP threat, but still does a lot of auto attacks. It's looking pretty good right now for Elventus.
Yeah, again, their solo laners are decently far ahead, just in terms of items. Warrior guy hasn't even had to do much in this game besides just kind of throw out stuns in these kind of clumped up team fights, but Knots is putting in so much work. There's really nobody on the side of One Brain Boys that can even try to mess with them. They do try to go for an engage, but
ooh, the stun landing on Taramis.
Dead.
Cask, King's Entourage, not where you want to be. Really cool interaction is that Belly Slam, or the Body Slam from Utsumi, actually is like the highest CC ability that cancels like every other CC ability.
Yeah, you're right. That's one interaction that it's not known, but I think a lot of players just know it from intuition, where Gragas Body Slam has pretty much the highest priority in the game in terms of just like CC. So if Gragas E ever goes against like a Camille E, or it goes against stuff like maybe a Hecarim charge, or even that Rammus, it just kind of cancels it out. So we saw that interaction there. They end up ulting King's Entourage, and this will be just the Mountain Dragon picked up for the side of Elventus. Again, they are one away from Soul, which will be spawning around the 29-minute mark. But again, for the side of One Brain Boys, they don't. Oh my God, that ulti! I was like afraid that it was gonna steal it again, but
that would have been hilarious.
Yeah, not there. They are keeping Bread Sheeran in the side lane, so they are at least getting gold onto their primary carry member, trying to make. Oh my God, he just absolutely annihilated him.
Having that 2 damage items.
Yeah, he does a lot of damage to these like 0 MR team from the side of Elventus, but it is just so hard for Bread Sheeran to get anything done when he's so far behind in terms of just team-wide gold.
Yeah, unfortunately, Johnny Esports healed for some reason there. Ooh, Note's taking quite a bit of damage, but Bread Sheeran is also not having the ultimate anymore. Note's trying to get right out of there, pops the E. Oh, and the E killed him. The cast coming out with the pile driver onto the Hecarim. Hecarim is going to be taken out. But here comes Nempo in the backline. Senna ultimate grabbing no one, but Syndra grabbing that kill onto Rammus. Nempo being taken out solo, being taken out. Built Diff Boy missing the face breaker. Wow.
We're just seeing fights over the map, all around the map, sadly, and Bread Sheeran was so close to assassinating Knots there. I don't know if he had the Proto Belt to try to output just a little bit more of that damage. Does get finished off by the Volibear E, and they try to make it engage off, and it was a good play by Built Diff Boy to ult the Hecarim into his team, was able to kill him off, but Again, they don't have any more damage after that. They have enough damage to kill probably 1 to 2 people, but when it comes to wiping the team, right now, Johnny Esports just doesn't have the 2 items he needs. They just need to afford to buy him a little bit more time, but I do like how these team fights are playing. Elventus isn't playing as cleanly as I hope they were, and there are opportunities for One Brave Boys to mount the comeback as slim as the chances seem to be.
Very true. And before I so rudely interrupted, and hopefully not interrupted again,
Oh
Red
my
Sheeran
God.
taking a little bit of damage, rooted, built it for under tower. Red Sheeran
no.
taking a lot of damage for use that ultimate. Nepo with the engagement, the stun on Tsutsumi, flash away King's Entourage, gonna be caught out a little bit kind of deep, and Hackerim in the backline. Red Sheeran not having any disengage, as Nepo also being taken out. Built Diff Boy, the only one left alive. And now I can finally finish what I was saying. And it doesn't even make any sense more, so I'm not even gonna say it.
No, again, in that situation, they tried to get the engage off. Bryce Sharon got a good combo off onto Overrush, but there's just not enough damage. I keep echoing this point. When you fall so far behind in the early game, you don't have the items. Even if you execute team fights well, it doesn't matter because the enemy team's just too tanky. And once the solo laners, not even the solo laner, once Knots and Professor Claps came into that backline, they just had no other abilities to even try to combat it, and Knots just ended up wiping out the fight. They pick up the Baron at 27 minutes, and now with a 13,000 gold lead for Elventus, they should look to end game number 1 versus One Brain Boys.
Oh, they definitely are looking to end having this 20 kill lead. Let me tell you, for my little podcast, this game is definitely one that I'm going to be talking about.
Again, you can't say that One Brain Boys games are not fun to watch. They at least always put on a show, and that's why I love them. They try their best to be inventive with strats. They try their best. They are never a team that will just die. They will always try and force and do things that try to at least put them in a position to win the game. Even though they've struggled out starting the season and they haven't really been able to pick it up, they're at least a team that just doesn't die and kind of roll over. They always try to put up a fight, and even in that situation, it never felt like they were down 20 kills, did it? It felt like they were still kind of in this game, but as this middle inhibitor tower siege starts up, this should be kind of GG because Knots can try to force this fight whatever he wants, and if Professor Claps and him try to get that engage off, this is just wipe.
Yeah. Echo, Red Sheeran being in the bot lane, getting that tier 1 turret, but you're trading your base for a tier 1 turret, honey. Not really the play you're looking for. Ram is going for the engage with the 1v4. Hackerim dive in the backline. King's Entourage fallen. Johnny Esports just being taken out, but the pile driver from Built Diff Boy. Red Sheeran trying to do anything he can. He did Zanya's. Nepo going in for the counter engage, but a little bit too late. Double kill going over to Notes. And that is just going to be GG. One thing I would like to say before this game, while this game is ending, is Built Diff Boy is usually the last one alive, which I feel like is not the kind of player that you need to be. Built Diff Boy needs to be, if he's dying, he needs to be the first one to die. He needs to be that front line.
Trying his best, but it felt like they were just so far behind from the early game that there was not much they could do. And in 29 minutes, Elventus Lime beat One Brain Boys in game number 1 of this set, 31-8, with the 3 dragons to the 1. Great game by Elventus. They had situations where it was a little bit shaky. I want them to clean up their macro. When they get this far ahead, I want them to kind of punch it in and end the game out cleanly. But again, a win is a win. And as you try to push for these playoffs, as hard as it may seem, you have to just string along as many wins as possible. And GG's to Elventus.
Very true. We are going to send it over to either a short break or back to the analyst desk. I am not quite sure what we want yet, but we will see you guys later.